What's
What's up, Ken?
going on, folks? What's happening? What's up?
Nothing much. Just over here trying to take the sticker off of this steel book I bought from Scratch and Spin. It's the DC animated movie Batman Ninja. Did you ever watch that one?
Mm, no, I don't think I did.
I would let you borrow, but I don't trust you. Um, it is. I liked it. The
Hmm.
character designs were very well done. Plot wise, but fact that it is an amazing. What in the world?
Where'd your camera go?
Did my camera just disappear?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I don't know where your camera went though.
Uh, that's weird. Hold on, let me check the video settings.
Hmm. Zayla Maru, it's been a minute. Yeah, what have we been up to? We've been up to trying to fix bugs, and here we go. So this is what you get. This is what you get of a quality program.
Hold on.
Oh, let's see. Maybe he's coming back. I can hear all your clicks in the background. While Leroy does that, it's been a minute. What's been up with us? So I went on a cruise. I had a good time on a cruise. I went to Dominican Republic. I went to Puerto Rico. I went to St. Thomas. And I feel like I'm a cruise person now. It was a fantastic time. Leroy's back now. Okay, there we go.
You know what that means?
I don't know what that means.
Time, time to buy a new laptop.
Tom, you've been
Uh,
saying that since like we started on Restream.
yeah, but that other laptop was a work laptop, and actually, so was this one. Uh, I don't want to use my wife's laptop because,
Cool.
yeah, I don't want to use hers. But anyway, it's free. It was free comic book day.
Hmm.
Star Wars the fourth. May the fourth be with you. And so I went to a couple of comic shops and picked up this and
So, question:
a
Did
couple of
you
books. Go ahead.
you? I know you like to visit. Did you go to multiple shops because you wanted to support multiple owners as
Yeah,
opposed to just getting
I
everything at one
usually
store? Okay.
I well, and every store doesn't have everything, and you never know. Like, so perfect example. Um, I got this at Scratch and Spin, right?
Hmm.
Steelbook. Uh, but at Heroes and Dragons, I was able to pick up two books that I had been looking for and I just haven't bought. One of my favorite books of all time, Black Monday Murders, from Jonathan Hickman, and The Weatherman, um, from Jody LaHep and Nathan Fox. So picked those up from Heroes and Dragons, and all their graphic novels were half off. And I may go back by tomorrow because I didn't spend a lot of time looking. I saw a couple of things I wanted, I got it, and then I left. So, but I'll probably go back tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough. Um, I was supposed to volunteer today, but it got rained out, so I did not end up volunteering.
Sucker.
I mean, sure, all right, yeah, whatever. So I spent all day watching Backlash in France, WWE Backlash, and watching the Derby. It's been nice, just chilling
Oh
at
yeah.
the house.
So here's the thing. I did not
Hmm.
realize the Kentucky Derby today until I ran into James. Shout out to James Gilbert, friend of the show. He was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, he was going to the Kentucky Derby party," and I was like, "Really?" I was like, "That's this weekend?" He was like, "Yeah."
first Saturday in
He's like,
May.
"Hey man, I don't care about the Kentucky Derby, and
Here's the
it is
thing.
obvious I don't.
I know you don't care about the Derby. I do know you like good presentations, and NBC
I
Sports puts on a great presentation with the
Here's the
Derby.
thing, I have watched it before. So, like,
Okay,
if I was involved in, like, putting it on, directing it, and, like, the producing of it, like, that is top notch. I will not dismiss or discount the effort that they put into it. I just don't care about the actual event.
fair enough.
So, that's like I used to watch, you talked about wrestling earlier.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't realize it, but I loved wrestling, I don't watch it now, but I used to love wrestling. And part of the reason why I used to love wrestling was because the production values for live sports. I would put the production of a live WWE presentation against anything the NFL does. I definitely think it's better than anything the NCAA puts out in ESPN. I will definitely go. I'll go to the mat for that.
I wouldn't fight that, especially. I mean, and I know you don't watch, but there's a difference now with how they're using their cameras under Triple H now, and it's really
Mhm.
good in terms of
Like,
how it's shot.
like this is what I will say. How many times have you ever seen a camera operator in a WWE match?
I mean, you don't see them a lot unless they want you to.
Hmm? And that
And you see
is
them more now, but that's because like the audience has grown up with it and they like they understand what it is. But yeah, yeah,
like,
they do a good job of not shooting cameramen.
and so I respect the craft that goes into a WWE match. I used to watch. Uh, I used to love the Victoria's Secret fashion show just to see how they edited it and put it together. And I thought one of the coolest things that what they should have done with the Victoria's Secrets was they should have gone live, especially now with the whole social media. They should have had a backstage, and I think the Oscars should do this. The Oscars have incorporated into it. The Oscars should put the backstage
Hmm.
in a like you pay for the backstage access and a whole separate Oscar presentation that goes on behind the scenes. So like you get to see the producer run people up to or the PAs, you get to see all of that. Like honestly, that's a whole revenue stream. Um the Academy, if you're watching, I'm available to make this happen for you.
For
Um
sure.
but I mean, it's just when you have like award shows, the Oscars does a good job now of like coming up next, so and so, this person. But
Hmm.
if they really wanted to capitalize, uh, pay $5-10, and you while you and have a whole separate. So like during the commercial break, when it goes to commercial, guess what? You don't get commercials. You get with all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. You never leave the Oscars.
Indeed.
So
Uh, Zayla Maru, yeah, the trip was nice. I have become an unofficial cruise person now. I'm trying to go on more cruises, probably at least once a year now at this point. But yeah, I had a good time on the cruise. Definitely enjoyed it. Would do it again for sure. Try to go to different
I'm happy
places.
for you.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Zayla
for
Maru
you.
points out nothing like a live WWE event. Saw The Rock and Stone Cold in Dallas back in around 2000. Very cool. What are we talking about today, man? This is a topic
Uh,
that you brought up here.
yeah, let me find it. Um,
That's great.
well, I was looking for the actual story that IGN posted when I watched the video, and it's I thought it was an interesting subject. Recently, because I wanted to see, I wanted us to talk about it, but we hadn't had a chance to because you hadn't finished it. So I'm not going to drop any spoilers or anything. But the Fallout show was dropped,
Hmm.
and it did well. A lot of people liked it. Um,
I think Amazon said it's like second highest rated show or second
yep.
most watched show or something.
Hmm.
Some high metric for it. Yeah.
And IGN brought up an interesting comment of, or did an interesting video in next next gen console watch on their show that they do every Friday, and they talked about the fact of that the show was doing so well that it hyped and actually made older games popular again. So Fallout 76, Fallout 4, Fallout 1, 2, 3 was either were on sale, free to play, and and they saw like a jump, a boost on Steam of the concurrent players. So I think Fallout 76, I don't know how many they said. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking for it right now. It boosted the game, and it just a lot of people were upset or had comments about the fact that why didn't Bethesda have a new Fallout game in conjunction with the show? And
Hmm.
it and IGN was like, they don't need to have, like, back in the day, you would have had some crappy game to go with the show. You would have had like they'd have farted something out that would have um, coincided with the show. But now there's enough material of Fallout games that you don't need to do that, and it's better to have this. And then they also made the comment of, is Sony not interested in making video games and they're interested in making TV shows? And is that the future of these properties? And I just thought it was an interesting conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's interesting. I because the question is, do you rush to put something out hoping you can capitalize on the fandom, but at the same time maybe you're not ready for it to come out and you're hoping that you can sell more before word gets out that the property that you put out is crap and then it diminishes the sales?
So, hold on. Uh, so here's one of the things that IGN posted. Boosted by the Fallout TV show, Fallout 76 sees over 1 million players in a single day. Now, Fallout 76, when it first came out, was not well received. When it first came out, it is a live service game, and it was not received very well. I think it was trashed everywhere. Um, Now, a lot of people who stuck with the game as they've made improvements say that the game now is nothing like the game it was when it came out, but it's still not where it could be or where it should be. Um, I have Fallout 4. Um, I believe I got it with my PlayStation Plus subscription. And during the show, I will admit to have downloading the game while watching the show. That's how good the show is. That it
Hmm.
makes you. It made me download the game. Uh, but I'm a fan of Fallout, of the games and the show. So I am the target audience. My question is it unreasonable to have a game ready when the show comes out? And should you have a game when the show comes out? Should you have something to capitalize on the success of a property when it comes out? And I'm going to have a comment after you answer the question.
I don't think it's, I mean, in a perfect case scenario, sure. If you're worried about like trying to get to generate as much revenue as possible, sure. If you can make that line up where you have the game ready or whatever it is to go with whatever the thing is. I mean, it's the whole thing of like cross media promotion, right? Obviously you would love to,
Mhm.
but time schedules for TV versus video games are so crazy. That's why, and to go off on a slight tangent, people are trying to figure out when James Gunn said, "Oh yeah, our
Yep.
games and our movies and everything are going to line up." It sounds good and it sounds awesome, but the schedules for making a game versus making a movie versus are so different. It's going to be tough to make that happen. If they can make it happen, they're going to knock it out of the park. But that just seems like such a lofty goal.
You
And
knew exactly where I was
realistically,
going.
yeah, realistically, it seems very tough to be able to pull off because
You knew
nobody's done it
exactly
yet.
where you knew exactly where I was going with that because it I understand where James Gunn was going. I understand what he was talking about when he brought up the fact of when as he's building the new DCEU, he's like, I have the TV shows, the movies, and the video games are all going to it's going to be one long continuous story arc. And I felt like that
With
was
the same
ambitious.
actors being across everything.
I thought that was on paper. I thought that was ambitious and a good idea.
Hmm.
In reality, I was like, I don't know how this is going to work unless the game itself is not going to continue the storyline from a particular movie. It's going to continue that character's journey. Does that make sense? So, in other
Sure.
words, as you play, let's perfect example, as you play a Wonder Woman game, the Wonder Woman game is going to tell you a story about Diana, and it will have elements of whatever TV show or movie property that she's in, but it won't necessarily continue after. Wonder Woman 3 or
Mhm.
whatever Wonder Woman property you have. It's going to pick up on certain pieces and certain characters you'll see that you recognize from film and television, and that her journey will continue, but not
It's almost like
necessarily.
a standalone expansion or something. It would have to be
Yes.
almost kind of self-contained, so they have to worry about meeting
Mhm.
exactly everything. Yeah,
Because I think the deadlines that movies have versus television versus video games are three totally different time scales.
like if you to piggyback off of that, if you look at it seems like Marvel now is trying to do this, but before when MCU first started with the movies and they had the TV, everybody wanted the TV and the movies to cross over more, and they just couldn't line up schedules like that. Like they kept talking about having the Agents of Shield characters in more of the movies. That just didn't happen the way they shot stuff. They had a few movie characters jump over to Agents of Shield, and really maybe two, I think. Lady Sif maybe was in two episodes of Agents of Shield. I can't remember anymore. But the schedules are so different. It's hard to do that. And to think you're going to add games to that, another type of medium, is interesting.
So think too the problem with and the MCU and Marvel and Disney had a whole bunch of other built-in problems. Kevin Feige was in charge of movies, where Jeff Loeb was in charge of the running of the TV shows. And by all accounts, they had two different. They didn't have the same, like they had the same goal of making good television and good movies, but I think they had two different goals on how they got to that point.
Hmm.
And you saw that when Kevin Feige got everything under his control, Jeff Loeb was out. And so I'd also think, and you can attest to this because I didn't watch after. Once Agents of Shield stopped trying to be the little brother to the MCU and started telling their own stories, it Agents of Shield got a whole lot better. Once they stopped trying to
Yeah.
reference the TV shows and the movies after spoiler alert, after Shield collapsed, the show took a dramatic turn and change, and the show was better for it. Um, so if and the and the reason why I bring that up is if television and movie have a hard time of syncing those things up, and you have the same actors, and you kind of have. No, I'm working through this, so forgive me if I clumsily describe this. Television and movies use the same things. They use cameras, they use actors, they use scripts. There's VFX of visual effects in both, but they both tell the same story using the same medium, which is a camera on a screen. Whereas video games are different. Video games use developers who develop this game. The game mechanics have to be right in order for the game to be made and put out. There's a different time schedule for a video game and how long that takes versus a movie and television show. And so for all of those things to match up, I do believe is I don't want to say ludicrous, but I do believe it is a how do I say this? You're giving yourself more trouble than it might
Yeah.
be worth.
Yeah. I think also it's a like an easy fix or like maybe a temporary solution might be a sense of scale because and this kind of goes back to another discussion we've had months ago, games
Mhm.
as service. Whereas
Yes.
like maybe the way you could kind of do it so they kind of again the idea of it's a standalone DLC, it's its own thing, it doesn't necessarily have to tie exactly into the movies or whatever, but maybe you're doing little snippets of games, kind of like how Naughty Dog did with Spider-Man Miles Morales and
Mhm.
whatever the Uncharted spinoff was with the two female.
Lost, Lost Odyssey or something like that. I
I
hold
don't know
on.
whatever that
I
was, but like the idea of okay, this is a smaller chunk of a game, so hopefully you don't have to spend as much resources on it and you can get it out quicker.
Lost
The
Legacy.
idea, yeah, the idea of having different seasons of content, maybe that would make it better. But yeah, the idea of you putting full resources behind a $70 game now, a AAA game at this point, probably is going to take you 5 or 6 years. So, I
And
mean,
here's
could
the
it be
thing.
done? I don't know.
And here's the thing. How much is that game going to cost? Because by the leaks that Insomniac suffered, Spider-Man might have cost over $200 million. Spider-Man 2.
Hmm.
That's the amount of a blockbuster movie,
Yeah.
of a big budget movie. Like, and two, this is what I will say, and I will throw it back to you in a second. I do wonder if Spider-Man 2 would have done better if it had been released around Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. Like, I do wonder if that was possible, if the production timeline would have allowed for that. Um, I don't
Like
know.
defined better because didn't that game sell 10 million copies?
It did, but is that enough? Because Insomniac laid off people this year.
It did.
It was the best selling PS5 game, best launch of a PS5 game. And Insomniac still laid off people. And so what I'm saying is, at the budget of that game, one of the most recognizable characters of all time, and it still didn't do enough business wise. What do you expect a game to do? And to me, that's indicative of the video game industry as a whole, that these AAA games are not sustainable over long periods of time. Because if
Hmm.
Insomniac can't make Spider-Man 2 profitable to the point where they can't not lay off staff, what does the rest of the video game market have? So I would say, because I do believe it's twofold, because it is one of those, and here's the thing too, I think this is a new problem, and I think I want to find the IGN video because I really wish we would have put the video out so people could watch before. Um, um, hold on, I'm trying to I'm trying to find the original. Yes, here it is. Um, yes, I found it. So here's the original story, which prompted this conversation. So I just put in the chat, and the conversation was, why make a video game when a TV show will sell your old games? And I understand why they brought this up, but the problem that I have with this is the concept that the premise of this is that there's only been recently five, I will say five decent video game properties. And I'm saying that's movies and television. Five that would be enough to go back and make you play that video game. Last of Us, Fallout, Arcane, um, Super Mario Brothers, and Fallout.
You already said Fallout.
Oh wait, hold on, not hold on. Fallout, Last of Us. Did I say Sonic?
You didn't say Sonic. Now you just had it
Sonic,
because
that's
that's
the
the
one.
five.
That's
Okay.
I thought I said Sonic. That's it. That's it. That's how low the bar is. There's five. I wouldn't put Twisted Metal in there only because Twisted Metal was just okay. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was just mid. Notice I didn't say Halo.
Well, also, I don't know that Sonic is good. I think Sonic is okay. Just did well at the box office.
I think Sonic is okay. I will say Sonic is better only because I think Sonic was, when we saw that first initial trailer and then the movie came out,
You
everybody
mean with
was,
Ugly Sonic
yes. So
or after they upgrade us? Okay.
when they had the teeth, when
Yeah.
Sonic had teeth, and you were like, "Oh no!" And then the movie came, you were like, "Oh, this is pretty good." Um, I would have said Detective Pikachu, but Detective Pikachu was nothing like the original video game. Um,
Well, there is a Detective Pikachu game.
There is, but what I'm saying is there was that game was unique enough to that movie and video game was so unique that it wasn't like a actual Pikachu uh or a Pokemon game. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't
Hmm.
like an actual Pokemon game,
Okay.
or movie. Um, I didn't say Mortal Kombat, and I stand by that.
I, you saying this stuff like it's hot takes. Yeah, I don't think anybody's looking at you like Mortal
No,
Kombat's a good movie.
I will say the original Street Fighter anime was really good, and that would have made me. But that's like 10, 20 years ago almost. That's
Oh yeah,
back in the
way
day.
more. Yeah.
The one that starts off with Ryu fighting Sagat, and you see
Hmm.
him slice his chest open like that. That I still have that on DVD somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, but I guess a reason why I bring that up is this is a new phenomenon that our video game properties are actually good. Like Last of Us was good to the point where it was winning awards, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is a great story." Fallout is the second of that live action. Arcane was good, but we have gotten the original Super Mario Brothers, Doom, U Bowls, all of those movies he did. Alone in the Dark, Blood Rain. Um, what was the other one? Dragon. It wasn't Dragon's Quest. What was the one that? And he had like real actors in it.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of what it's
Like,
called.
I mean, he was the king of making bad video game movies to the point where, remember, he had that contest where you could fight me.
Slightly, yeah.
So, to me, this is a new phenomenon to think that you don't have to make a new game to sell your old games. I do believe two things can be true. You don't have to make a new game to sell your old games, and you do need a new Fallout game. Fallout 4 is 10 years old.
Hmm.
So, and the other thing that I think Bethesda and Microsoft screwed the pooch on was the update, the next gen update for Fallout 4 didn't happen until 2 weeks after the show dropped.
Yeah.
So I do think those two things can be true. Um,
Yeah, I think it goes back to the issue of planning everything, right? Because even with the next gen update dropping or current gen update dropping, whatever you want to call it, there was confusion over who could get it for free, and even some of the people that got the update have complained about how it doesn't work the way it should. I think
yes,
they're slowly ironing that stuff out. So it just seems,
yes,
even if they were to drop it at the right time, if they couldn't make it a success, which to be fair, not giving them a pass, but you say it all the time, everybody says it. They're called Bethesda, so I mean, expecting them to get something right.
it's asking
I
a
think,
lot.
yeah, I think people were slightly excited with Starfield, not because it was a great game. Some people love Starfield. It's got mixed reviews overall, but I think a lot of people were excited with the fact that it didn't have as many bugs as people thought it would have. Um, so yeah. Somebody brought up. Did somebody bring up something like
But
something that could be that's something that could work? Let me go back in the chat for a second. Go ahead.
Ken from Chicago brings up
Oh,
video games.
Bioshock. Zayla Maru's
Wait,
talking
I didn't.
about. I bet we get a Bioshock series eventually.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna we'll take a break from this and we'll read some comments. Kim Chicago brings up games can take years to make from programming to testing. Movies can take months. So, yes, the production schedule of video games. He says, buying casting studios agreeing to distribute take years. Yeah, and so I agree with all that. Zayla Maru, Bioshock has been in development hell for years. Remember, Verbinski was supposed to
Babinski,
be
yeah.
doing it from Pirates of the Caribbean, and he dropped out. I don't know exactly where that property stands. Um, Kim from Chicago was right. Ironically, many players complained about crappy quality of video games slapped together to tie into movies or TV shows, and that was what IGN was bringing up in their point. Should we just be content with a good video game property, whether it's a television and a movie, and then go back and play the other games with updates? I don't know if I do believe, considering how old Fallout was and considering the remakes, I do believe it is not unreasonable to ask them to remake New Vegas, or Fallout 3. I don't think that's unreasonable. And I say that because we just got Dead Space, we just got Resident Evil 2 and 3, and Rebirth from Final Fantasy. Um, and
Well, I
I
wouldn't
was
count
not a
Rebirth under that because it's different from Final Fantasy 7. But I see what you're saying.
but what
Like 2 and
so
3 are like the stories of 2 and 3. Rebirth is not. Is different.
how different? Like it's a totally
It,
different game. So
like
so
it's like
the seven.
it is a different thing. Like there are points it touches on, but it's different. But like 2 and 3 follow the beats, and Dead Space follows the beats of that story. But this different. But I see what you're saying.
So would the first Final Fantasy 7 remake can be considered a remake, or is that a remake and then Rebirth goes all the way? So what? Explain that
So,
to me real quick.
so non spoilers for people who may want to play it, but remake
Non spoilers.
it follows parts of 7, but it could also be looked at as a sequel. As best I'll
Okay.
say. Yeah.
So, and the reason why I bring that up is because again, Fallout 4 is 10 years old.
Mhm.
So I agree with that. I don't have a problem with remakes as much as I did before. And the reason why I say that is because
hmm
yeah, I'm that guy now. Um I
Have you actually played the PlayStation 5 version, or you just bought it to have it?
This was a gift.
Oh, okay,
Wait,
got it.
I don't know. Be honest with you.
Okay,
This was either a gift or I bought it. I don't remember. But
but have
I
you played
will
it yet?
the PlayStation 5 one?
Yeah.
No, I have not yet.
Okay, got
I'm
it.
waiting to waiting to punish myself to when I have a low moment in my life, and then I'm gonna put it in to be like, yeah. Uh I personally do not have a problem with remakes now. And that's a big deal coming from somebody who originally um shitted on remakes.
hmm
For how long did I crap on them?
I mean, we talked about them for a while. How they didn't seem like they served a purpose,
Yeah.
and I
And I
think
was
for me, I'll let you finish a second. But I think for me, the thing with remakes is like I was kind of there, but I got turned around. I like the idea of a remake if you haven't seen it in maybe 2 or 3 console generations. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of The Last of Us because for it to be on PlayStation 4, or was it PlayStation 3 and then PlayStation 4 and then
It was on
PlayStation 5?
PlayStation 3. The first Last of Us was on play came out at the end of the cycle of the PlayStation 3.
Then
Last
they
of
made a
Us and
PlayStation
Shadow
4
of the
version.
Colossus.
Then they made
Yes.
a PlayStation 4 version, and then they made a PlayStation 5 version. I
Yes.
I kind of wish maybe you'd wait a console generation and then do it, skip one or something, because to me it just feels I don't predatory on people to do that. And granted, I understand it looks better and everything, but I don't know. I don't like it. If that, but if you could wait a generation, I'm more inclined. Now, if you could do
I'm
what Final Fantasy 7 does and flip the script on the story, like, oh, that's interesting for me.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I agree with everything you just said. And Sony just Nintendo'd me.
Oh, sure, yeah,
And I now in my defense, either I paid $30 for that or it was a gift. So somebody else
sure,
paid that money for it. But
sure.
I agree with everything you just said. And I still am going to buy this game. And I think that's where Nintendo rules because Nintendo has cornered the market on you're going to buy these games on every console we have, no matter the generation that you already have it on.
hmm
And they have done a good job of that. And it almost seems right now to segue to a in the same area. Sony doesn't care about making video games right now. Sony seems to be like, we're going to make all of our video games other things, whether they be TV shows or movies.
hmm
And don't know how I feel about that. If you look at right now what Sony has on the table, so
I don't know what you hit, but your camera went away again.
uh,
Oh, there it
oh,
is back now.
okay.
I don't know if it's weird.
Just let me know if I disappear. I
Sure.
need a new laptop. So let's start with right now. Last of Us, HBO Max or HBO, um, or Warner Brothers, because who knows what the world is going on with that company. Uncharted was a movie. We've got Twisted Metal was a TV show on Peacock. Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out with Netflix. God
Hmm.
of War, Amazon. Gran Turismo movie, streaming right now on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah.
Days Gone is going to be a movie. Gravity Rush, which I'm actually interested to see how they pull that off. Death
Man,
Stranding.
that did not. That's not the biggest of the franchises, but hey, why not shoot your shot?
I mean,
Somebody will
it's one
find
of
an
those.
audience.
It's one of those properties where it's like it's not huge, and it's not like so well known that I don't hate it because it's not going to be what I want it to be. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Death Stranding from A24. And of course, we've been hearing Metal Gear Solid and Ghost of Tsushima is going to be a movie.
Hmm.
Keep in mind, none of those has a next gen game coming out anytime soon. We have not heard anything from Insomniac for a new Uncharted game. God of War just dropped Ragnarok
Naughty Dog
last year.
for Uncharted.
Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog,
Yeah.
sorry. Naughty Dog
Okay.
uh, for Uncharted. We haven't heard anything from them. Ragnarok came out last year. Am I correct?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay. Uh, Ghost of Tsushima, we have not heard from the sequel, which I think that may be the only one that might line up when the movie comes out and the game comes out.
Could be.
Um, Days Gone could be an interesting one
So did
because I
that
think.
sell well? Didn't that studio like say
So
like,
here's
oh
the
yeah,
thing.
nobody bought this game really?
Here's the thing.
Everybody when it was $10 with that point doesn't matter.
Hold on, because I think one of my gremlins just got up. I think he went to the
Mm.
bathroom. Um, the one that can't go to the bathroom. Um,
Okay.
Here's where I will say with Days Gone. I love Days Gone. I do. The mechanics of that game now, with all the patches and everything, are great. The story, subpar. The characters, okay. When it first came out, the game wasn't good. And it was announced before Last of Us 2 came out. And it was one of those things where it's like, you have a zombie game, you're not The Last of Us, and it wasn't as well received as it could have been because the game wasn't great. Now, I will say this. I've played Days Gone from beginning to end 4 times.
Yeah,
I
you really
just
do like
love
that.
I love that. I love the game.
What's
And
that
I
man's
say
name?
that
Deacon something? Deacon St. John?
Deacon St. John. It's
Yeah.
the guy, and the guy who plays Deacon St. John is a prolific actor when it comes to nerd properties because remember, he's Star Killer in Star Wars. He is in Battlestar Galactica, and I want to say was he in? I swear he was in like the CW shows, like the Superman shows, but I could be wrong. Um, I enjoyed that game. Now, there's a lot of things in that game that just don't work, but I enjoyed that game. I really did. I enjoyed riding that motorcycle. I enjoyed doing the missions, but that game really did suffer from a lot of nihilism to a certain extent and not having the gravitas and the emotional weight that The Last of Us had. So I think that could be improved as a movie. But Ben Studios has said they were not granted a sequel, even
Hmm.
though they sold enough to get a sequel. And the fans have responded and they do enjoy that game. So, uh, Horizon, now out of all of those, which property is more interesting to you as a television or movie?
Um, I kind of want to see what Netflix is going to do with Horizon
Interesting.
for me. Um, I don't really care about Death Stranding and Kojima. He's already making his own movies. It's fine, whatever. I think the
Yeah,
best
they're
people
called
to
video
get it,
games.
A24 is probably the best studio to get it for live action stuff. But yeah, for me, it's probably Horizon, just to see what it's going to be and how they approach it. Because I really enjoy that game a lot, so I would be curious what they do for a standout property. Because in my mind, I feel like Netflix is going to bundle it or bungle it. I don't see them getting it right.
Really?
Netflix is more about spending money and hopefully maybe you'll get it right.
Okay. Sorry, I dropped something. Uh, Interesting. That wasn't the answer I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to be, I thought we were going to be on the same page. I'm interested to see how well God of War is.
Hmm.
I think, cause so I think Ghost of Tsushima is in good hands. I think that is in good hands because Chad Stileski, the man behind John Woo, I think that's in good hands. We've already seen The Last of Us, Uncharted. I'm be honest with you, didn't even bother to watch it. I didn't even
It's a
like.
very
I didn't
5 out of 10 movie. It's whatever.
didn't bother to watch it. Um, Mark Wahlberg as Sully, Tom Holland as Drake. Like I did not. You literally had Nathan Fillion living in the world, and you did not make an Uncharted game with Nathan Fillion. I was out. From there on, I was out, and I know that's a very narrow-minded way of looking at it, but I'm like, I don't need you to make and try to make a franchise with Tom Holland and have Nathan grow up. You have Nathan Drake. We've already seen a fan made film with him. This is a no brainer. And when you bungled that, I was like, I'm out. So, um, but I'm more interested in, like you said, Death Stranding. I'm more interested in Death Stranding and God of War. I want to see what Amazon does with God of War because I would not think Fallout was going to be as good as it was, and it
Hmm.
was excellent to the
Hmm.
point where it made me re-download Fallout 4, and I didn't even finish that game. So if your game is amazing, which God of War is an amazing story, both games. Let's see what happens when Amazon has all the money in the world. They've already shown that they can make good television. The Boys, I heard Mr. and Mrs. Smith is good. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
Reacher's pretty
that was
good.
a lot of fun.
Reacher was pretty good the first season. Rings of Power or the Lord of the Rings show is everybody raves about that. Um, let's see, Invincible. Um, let's see what they do with God of War. Um, I
I wonder if they would like cast the people that did the voices. Probably not, right? Like they're probably not going to cast Christopher Judge to be Kratos.
He says no one has reached out to him,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you, I don't need. I as much as I think he embodies Kratos' voice, but I had to go get my belt.
Not get your
Um,
belt.
no, I'm just joking. Um, Or am I?
Mm,
Social services?
yeah.
uh, no, I don't need them to recast the same people. I just needed them to tell a good story. And I would like
Hmm.
to see who they get in that role because I was one of those people who wanted Nicholas old boy from um Game of Thrones. Uh the sister
Oh,
poker.
okay.
I can't
Sure. I know who you're
I'm
talking
trying to
about.
remember what his name is. But I wanted him to be Joel. And then they announced Pedro Pascal, and I was like, eh. And then I watched it. I was like, oh, he was Joel. He killed it. So I'm not
Hmm.
Jamie Lannister. Thank you, Ken from Chicago. Um, so I'm not one of those people who's like, it has to be this, unless it's Nathan Drake, because Nathan Fillion is Nathan Drake to me. Uh, Cade Six. Whew. But I do believe that we're in a new what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a new franchise. It's not a new millennium. We're in a new chapter. We're in a new chapter where video game properties are being taken seriously, and
Sure.
the weight of these properties are being handled by television vets. A lot of people don't realize the reason why Fallout was so good was because Westworld was canceled. Because Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy were not doing Westworld, and they were on Fallout, and they were able to make Fallout one of the best TV shows in the last couple of years. And you
Now
don't
they
have
were in a producer role, right? Like they didn't. Did they write the show?
I'm not saying that they wrote it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they helped make this show, and they
Sure.
were the people behind Westworld. So when it comes to dystopian and post-apocalyptic worlds, get some people who know how to make that. And they took the property, which again, Westworld is a remake of a movie. And they
Hmm.
took that property and they were able to expand upon it. And I also think the fact of having Todd Howard with them the entire time played a very big part in this. So I think that going forward is something we need to look at too. When God of War is cast, when they look at who's on the show, let's look at the stuff that they've done in the past, because we have talked a lot about the shows that have worked. We have not talked about Halo. And are you watching Halo season 2?
I don't have Paramount Plus. If I did, I'd check it out.
Didn't answer my question. Are you watching it?
No, I just told you. If I
No,
had,
you
if I
said you
had,
don't
if
have
I had,
you
what I
said you
said
don't have
was
Paramount Plus.
no. What I
Uh-huh.
said was I don't have Paramount Plus. If I did, I would check it out.
You would check it out.
Yeah, I'd check it out.
So the fact that you don't have Paramount Plus is what's stopping you from watching it. So what I'm saying is that in and of itself means that it is not good enough for you to go check it out.
Mm, that's loaded.
It's not loaded because here's the
It
thing:
is
if the
loaded
show is
because
good
I also
enough,
don't have
yeah,
HBO Max, but I have access to HBO Max. So I can see stuff on
but you
HBO
made sure
Max.
you had access to HBO Max. That's what I'm saying. In other words, if the channel, if the streaming service and the shows that they provide is good enough, you will make sure that you have access to that streaming service. You don't think that whatever Paramount has is worth you ferreting out somebody who has that, or you would pay for it yourself. You pay for Peacock.
Hmm.
You pay for what other streaming services?
Disney Plus,
Why?
Peacock, Disney Plus, Netflix.
Why do you
Disney
pay for
Plus,
those three?
honestly, I just Netflix. I find stuff I like. Disney Plus, I kind of go back and forth like that one. Kind of like, I could kind of get rid of Disney
That
Plus.
that's what Baby Tashiro says. Is Halo even worth the subscription? And I will say no. And what I will say is, if Halo was worth the subscription, and there's other things on Paramount that I think that you will be willing to pay for, but you have enough that you're like, yeah, I don't need that in my life because I'm not impacted enough that I have to have this.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying about Halo. Halo is not worth you going the extra mile to find whether or not.
Mhm.
And Disney Plus, you are enjoying X-Men 97, correct?
What I've seen of it so far, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So like eventually you may cancel Disney Plus, but right now there's enough that you're like, oh, I do want to see that. I do want to be in that conversation. Halo is not that property as a television show. And
Sure.
that's
Sure.
sad because Halo could be the flagship that Fallout is going to be for Microsoft.
Sure. I could see that. Yeah, I think, and I haven't seen the second season of Halo. It does seem like the online chatter is that season was better than season one. Still
Mhm.
not great, but at least they're getting closer to what they want it to be. And
And
somebody
that's
brought
not
up in
saying
chat
much.
earlier. No, it's yes, yeah. Somebody brought up in chat earlier. It seems like now they have just now reached where Halo Combat Evolved is, because I think season two was like the Fall of
Fall of
Reach,
Reach.
more or
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
And here's the thing, and the reason why I bring that up is because, and I say this, and I'm not trying to trash Paramount Plus because I had it when we worked at uh, News 19, or when I
Oh
worked at
yeah,
News
I like
19.
Paramount Plus.
I like Paramount Plus. I liked a lot of the stuff that they have, and I still like
Star
a lot of
Wars
stuff
or the
they have.
Star Wars, Star Trek stuff was great.
Star Trek stuff was good. Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds. I honestly may get Paramount Plus only for the Nickelodeon shows.
Hmm.
My kids really love Blues Clues. They're really getting into Bubble Guppies. So like the Nickelodeon stuff is enough to bring me back, and I love all the crap that Tom Cruise does. So
Sure.
outside of his religion, White Jackie Chan is my man.
I'm
Um,
not white Jackie Chan.
you know who he is. But I say that in the fact of I knew Microsoft was not serious about Halo when Halo showed up on Paramount Plus. Because if
Okay.
Halo was on Apple, I'd have been like, okay, you're serious about it. Because I knew you would have had the people behind it. When I if they would have said Halo was on HBO or Warner Brothers, okay. If they would have said Halo was on Disney Plus, I would have known that you were serious about it. Saying Halo's on Netflix, that's shaky. That's shaky.
Hmm.
You ever watch Nick Cannon's show, Wild and Out, where Emmanuel.
Years ago.
Okay, so when they do the battles back and forth, and Emmanuel has the ref jersey on, and they go back and forth, and Emmanuel's like, "That's shaky, boss. That's shaky. That's shaky."
Yeah.
That's what I think of Halo on Netflix. It's shaky,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I'll give you. Let's see how it goes, because I think Netflix has done a good job. Umbrella Academy,
Hmm.
top notch. Um, but Paramount Plus, Microsoft giving Paramount Plus is like a certain reporter coming to you and saying, I have a story about Palestine and
Don't you,
Israel.
God, don't
Yep.
you do
Yep.
that and bring that person up. Let that person live their life. They thought they were going to solve peace in Middle East.
What happened? What happened? What happened on that call, sir? That's what happens when you put Halo on Paramount Plus.
Don't put that on that person. That
Am I
person's not here
wrong?
to defend themselves.
Am I wrong?
That person seems to be doing fine where
Hold on.
they are
They don't
now.
have to be here to defend themselves. Did they defend themselves on that call?
They didn't. They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't.
You know, we've been
As
together
soon as you
long enough.
started talking, and I was like, oh, God, I knew exactly what story and what reporter you were about to talk about. Leave that person alone. They trying the best they can.
Baby Tashiro, basically what happened was a reporter got on our afternoon 2:30 call and was like, I've got a story about the conflict in the Middle East. And this is years before the October 6th attack. This was hell. What year was this?
It had to be at
This is
least
before,
3 years ago because I haven't
yeah,
been
at
in a
least.
WTX for 3 years.
Yeah. So she got on the call and said,
You didn't
I
have
have
to give a gender to the person. I'm trying to protect
No,
this person as much as possible.
I'm not. I don't
Keep
care.
going.
Um, because she didn't care, obviously. Um,
Don't do that to that person.
no, you know why she didn't care? Because her job as a reporter, her job is to distill these facts, this information, and tell a story to make you care about a certain region, to make you care about what's going on in the world. And she did not do her job. She didn't even do half of her job. She didn't even have all of the facts. On the call, ladies and gentlemen, she had a story pitch for us about the conflict in the Middle East, about Israel and Palestine. And when we asked her, did you have the other side? She said, what is a Palestinian? Did she not say that, Michael?
I don't remember it that way. What I remember was she had one side. I can't remember what side it was, but she didn't
She didn't
have
have
the
the other
other
side,
side.
did she?
She did not, but I don't know if
That's
her
so
exact
listen,
words were,
you
"What
know
is a
what?
Palestinian?" I don't know that she said
Watch
that.
this. Watch this. We'll stop right there. I will take back what I said. However, comma, did she have the other side of a conflict?
No, she
Of
did not.
two, and
She did
that
not.
is my point. And I
Yeah.
bring this back to Halo. So when
Yeah,
Halo,
get tired of saying the
so
Hilo. Go ahead.
when Halo was being optioned, and they said Paramount Plus is going to make it, us who were in the know looked at that concept and said, "Y'all don't give a shit about Halo." Just like you didn't give a shit about Halo Infinite. Because if you did, it would have been a launch title. But you tried to launch it when you launched the Xbox.
Don't say no, 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 no. I'll fight back on that.
No,
Don't
they
say
did.
they didn't care about it
No, they didn't.
because if they didn't care about it, they would have launched it broke as it was when it was ready to go. They
No,
held it back deliberately for a year. So I'm
they
not going to
held
let you
it
say
back
that they
because
didn't care
we,
about it.
no, no, no. They held it back because we called them out. They
Yeah, but
didn't
we didn't.
care
You can't
until we
conflate
cared.
that.
No, no,
We
no.
you
I
don't know
can.
that. You don't
Yes,
know
I
that.
can.
There's
You know
no
why I say
fact
that?
to say that they weren't going to delay it when it happened. You don't know that.
No, they weren't going to delay it. They delayed it after the outrage because remember, they had all these upfronts. They had all of these, hey, look at Halo Infinite. And we were like, that's Halo Infinite? And we was like, nah, that's not Halo Infinite. And they saw the chatter on social media. They saw everybody complaining that is not next gen. And they was like, you were right. Matter of fact, let's go look it up.
Okay.
Let's go look it up.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I won't. I can't agree with you on that. I do not have proof that says because we don't have any conversations where they're like, this is definitely going to come out. Uh-oh, people are hating on it. Let's wait. Because my boy Uncle Phil was the one to be like, let's hold off for a second. Granted, it did happen after the negative reaction came out. I'll give you that. But I can't say that. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Keep talking. I'm
Halo
looking.
Infinite is the one with the bearded sidekick. Question mark. Yeah, I can't even remember that person's name. Halo Infinite was a fun story. I will say that. I enjoyed playing the storyline of Halo
after they
Infinite.
fix it.
No, the storyline wasn't the problem. That wasn't the issue. The issue was we talking about great graphics and shaders. Yeah.
So I'm on the verge. I'm reading it right now. Um, I so hold on. I'm reading some of the comments. Uh, Janie K. Actually, I want to take a second to shout out Kim from Chicago, Zayla Monroe, Baby Tashiro, Herbert Thornton, Janie K. Who else is in here?
We got the usual
Um,
suspects in here commenting. Appreciate
I just
y'all
want to make sure.
dealing with our go ahead, sorry.
No, I just want to make sure I shout out that we do see you chatting, and as we're trying to have the conversation, I'm trying to respond to. No, I want to bring it back to the video games because we got a little sidetracked. Um,
Talking
anytime I
about
can,
Palestine and Israel.
anytime I can bring that story pitch up,
Oh
I'm gonna bring it up
man.
because I
Man.
am, I, every time I think about it and I tell people about that, no one believes me. No
I
one
mean
believes that
it's
that
it's
happened.
wild. And here's the
No one
crazy
believes.
oh man.
Go ahead.
just to keep people's names out of stuff, but y'all, we could just have a dish session about some of the wildest stuff that's happened in newsrooms. Because I'm thinking that's not even the craziest thing that I've heard come out of that reporter's mouth. As wild as that was, I've heard that reporter say wilder stuff,
That is true.
and it's like, oh, wait, so then why'd you do this based on the history that you told me you
Yep.
have? But whatever,
Oh,
doesn't
remember
matter.
remember what after you left, when she put that dude back on TV after we told her not to interview him after you lied about his name?
Vaguely, this is after I left.
Yeah, after you left when you were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
don't."
yeah, vaguely. I kind of remember that.
Anyway, I don't care if she like, it's not like she's gonna ever watch this channel, and if she actually did, I would definitely call her out on it. Um, I bring all this up to say, I think we finally at a point where video game adaptations are actually taken seriously because the
One
storylines are
second,
being
hold on.
taken seriously.
Just so we're clear,
Mhm.
the reporter we're talking about is not friend of the show, Lauren. Now I'm good.
Mm. Nah,
And the only reason why I bring that up is because that's the only person that has been on our channel that's associated as being a reporter. So I want to make sure it wasn't Lauren.
yeah.
Now we can keep going. All right.
No, no, no. Lauren, no, you know what? I just saw Lauren a couple weeks ago. I love Lauren.
Yeah,
We're
Lauren's
gonna try to
awesome.
get her back on. Um, check out Lauren Nicole's music. She's working
El
on some
Nicole,
new
I think, right?
yeah, she's working
Yeah,
on
El
some
Nicole.
new tracks. And yeah, Lauren, I'm gonna tell you right now, I love Lauren. Lauren, I've always supported her. When we were working, my job was not a photographer, but I was Lauren's photographer because I always wanted her to shine. So whenever
Yeah.
Lauren had a story and she needed help, I would always pitch in and help Lauren and go shoot her shit to make sure she was doing well. Now, I wasn't always the nicest brother when I was shooting her stuff. I was very militarily like, hey, you need to get your shit together. But yeah, Lauren was mad cool. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Lauren got back in the business, Lauren would be the number one reporter in our market or any market she's in. She just needs somebody to stay on her. But when that woman puts her all into something,
Yeah, I
kills
tried
it.
to get her to come to Charlotte. Um, and I know some other people that want her to come to Charlotte.
Yeah.
But I think at this point,
Nah,
like
she's gone.
they're
She's out.
down in yeah, down she's out, and also down in dirty business. Like local local journalism does not pay well.
No,
You
it
can make
doesn't.
way more money
And she's
outside of
and
that,
she's
working
and
better hours.
she's living her best life.
Right.
And so I to bring it back to the video game, I think our stories are being taken seriously now. And I think
Mhm.
our properties are being taken seriously now because you're seeing more and more people from the film and television industry working and having respect for these properties. Like when you look at what Troy Baker did with Joel, and then you look at what Pedro Pascal was able to do with the character of Joel, and the respect those two actors had, because you were the one who said it, and I hate you for it because I cannot watch it now and not see it. You talked about the fact of when you're watching Invincible, there's a difference between people whose job it is to be actors versus people whose job it is to be a voice actor in animation.
Yeah.
There is a difference, and I cannot unsee that when I'm watching Invincible.
You're welcome. I made your life better.
Hate you for it, but appreciate you for it.
Yeah.
I say that to say you have a respect that you did not have in the past. You have a respect for these people who mocap and tell these stories. Um, I'm interested to see who they get to play Aloy in a Netflix show because the actress who plays Aloy and the way they capture Aloy, it is a character we have not seen in television or film.
Shout out to
Um,
Ashley Birch.
she does an excellent job, and the way she carries herself, the way she lives in this world with the weight of the world on her shoulders, and everybody else in that game is top notch. I don't know all their names. Um, so to say that we don't need video games to coincide with these films, I think it's a different way to look at it. We need these films and television shows to be as good as the games to warrant a game to be released when it comes out.
Sure.
You need to step your game up, Fallout, to make sure you're on par with the Fallout that we played, that we're fans of. You need to step your game up.
Kay
Go ahead.
brought it up. Game IP for movies and series are finally getting the serious respect treatment, just like comics are. People forget that comics were treated as a joke for decades.
Yep, and still,
Yeah.
and Kay is a good point. Some comics are still crapped on because superhero comics, because of the MCU, they're still being crapped on. And I understand where they're coming from in some instances, but you can't tell me that the MCU hasn't had some of the best movies in cinema in the last 10 years.
Sure.
What they've done as far as Captain America Civil War, Black Panther, 1 and 2, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame. You can't tell me that those movies are not some of people's best movies of all time. Like the way that those movies spoke to people. Seeing Miss Marvel in a TV show, those are comics. Into and Across the Spider-Verse. No way you can't tell me that those stories were not warranted and deserve top-notch talent working on them. So that's where I look at it. And the only franchise I think will have a game that coincides with the release of a movie or television show is this one. Because this shit drops every year.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I think will have something that comes out. Because it comes out every year. Like,
yeah, and I wonder.
Go ahead.
If it's even. Because I feel like the quality of recent Modern Warfare games have been debatable for the past few iterations. I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing that it comes out every year like that to coincide with whenever a movie comes out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I will definitely say that the production of the single player games has been subpar. Assassin's Creed came out every year. You're right, came from Chicago, and they've stopped doing that. They've stopped. They said they're going to stop doing that. And keep in mind, they dropped a movie too. Notice we didn't talk about that.
That was a rough movie.
And I love Michael Fassbender, and that movie was.
Yeah, not good.
That movie was whatever it was.
Yeah.
So we've been going for about an hour. I needed this, y'all. I really appreciate it. Today was a tough day. It was a good day. Took the boys to the library, took them to touch a truck, but let me tell you. Woo. These irrational monsters.
I like that we could be some sort of therapy outlet for you, Leroy.
Almost broke a brother today. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Nice.
You know how they say back in the day, your mama saved you.
Yeah.
That happened.
Wow.
As I spend every waking moment not to be my dad, I turned into my dad today. So yeah.
Fantastic.
But no, today was Free Comic Book Day. For those of you who are watching live, tomorrow, go to a comic book store if they're open. They may still have some free comic books. Also, today was Star Wars Day, May 4th. This is the comic store that was from my wife's hometown, Future Great Comics. Of course, you can see that they did the Star Wars logo. Did you do anything for Free Comic Book Day or May 4th?
No, I've been in the house all day.
Really?
Watching stuff. Yeah. Because my day started at 7-ish a.m. when I found out, I'm not going to Fort Mill because the Strawberry Festival was canceled. Okay, cool. So I went back to sleep for a little bit. Woke up. By the time I woke up, it was time to I had to watch SmackDown and Raw to be caught up on the storylines for Backlash in France. Oh, shout out to Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair for becoming new women's tag team champions. Fantastic. Black women.
Shout out to Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill for rocking that silver whitish hair. I just like I'd seen her
Hmm.
and I didn't realize that her theme song was what it was, and I was like, "Oh, I get it now."
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. But no, I did buy, and this is the only time I will do this. I will put it in the chat. Only time I'll do this, only because I want somebody else to make the same mistake that I did.
That sounds like
I'm
some
not gonna lie.
Drake and
I'm not
Kendrick
gonna lie to y'all.
pettiness.
No, it's petty, but it's petty in a good way. I love Legos, and it is May 4th. If you buy in the next 4 hours, and I know this sounds very QVC-ish, if you buy the next 4 hours, you can get the $50 X-Wing Lego playset for $34 that
Hmm.
normally sells for $60. It is the Luke Skywalker Lego set that always is $50. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
You
I
picked one
did
up?
not, huh?
Did you pick
Yeah,
one
I
up?
bought one. Yeah,
Okay.
almost. I might buy two. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might buy two because it's still. So I bought one, and there's another one still in the cart. And I
Mm.
was like, wait, I already bought this. And it's like, oh, you just hit buy now when you had already added one to the cart. It comes with 4 Lego figures, Leia, R2, a some kind of uh do you watch Righteous Gemstones?
Yeah. I
Walton
just
Goggins character? That's
Baby
who the
Billy?
other, yeah, it looks like Baby Billy.
Okay.
Um and then Luke Skywalker. And it's an X-Wing Lego set. And
They're
it
looking for
was
extras for
34.
Righteous Gemstones. They're starting to shoot the next season.
Yeah, I got a buddy of mine that I work with who works on that show. He
Oh,
works
cool.
on that in Outer Banks. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, baby Tashiro, a deal is a deal. See, here's the thing. I don't want. I'm a man of two minds. I want to see y'all be great, but I also want you to be the crabs in the bucket with me, buying shit that I buy too, so we can talk about it together. Because I have been holding out being a Lego guy, and then this showed up in my feed for $34. And I was like, well, shit, it's May 4th. I can't pass this up.
I mean, you can.
No, I can't. I don't have the willpower.
Okay.
I don't. Ooh, there's a stand I can buy.
All right,
Oh,
folks. I'm
there
gonna
are
hang up
lights.
on y'all for this because he's just having a good time. We will
There are
try to be back
lights.
next week live
No,
around 9:30 ish. No, we won't be.
we may
Maybe
not
not.
be live, but every week our goal is to give you something. We're going to give you something like Kendrick gave Drake something. Our goal is every week to give you something.
No, I don't want
Now,
to be involved with that beef because that's somebody
all I
gonna
know
die
is,
on that.
son, do you know anybody who hates anybody else the way Kendrick hates Drake?
No, I was like, man, yeah, it's rough. I was upset,
Son,
but I was hurt. Not hurt. I was just shocked when I heard Chris Brown's diss against Quavo. I was like, oh, this ain't the same. This
son.
ain't the hate that Kendrick and Drake got towards each other.
So remember when we were talking about the first song that dropped and
Hmm.
Euphoria,
Hmm.
and then the other two songs dropped? I didn't even be able to digest all of Euphoria. And then Not Like Us dropped, Meet the Grams dropped, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's a lot.
you don't like this man. And
Yeah.
I said, I've hated a lot of people. I got a list of people. I don't think I've ever hated anybody as much as Kendrick hates Drake.
Yeah, it's rough.
I don't, I don't, yeah, I don't think I've ever gone Jedi Mike, what's up, baby?
Oh, Jedi Mike, I'm glad you're here. We're about to leave. um, yeah, nice to
Yeah,
see you, brother. But we about to get off.
yeah. Michael's got to go lay down, and I got to go find out what's going on in down
Gotta
the
go
room.
lay down.
Jedi Mike, you going to San Diego? Hey man, tell me how it is, cause I can't go.
Jedi Mike, man, I want to go, but I can't go either. I have to work at my other job that actually pays me, and we have blackout dates because we're doing NBC is Olympics, and we can't travel
Oh,
during
that's right. That's the Olympics this year.
July 26th through August something. I can't. I have to be at work for Olympics.
Really?
So yep,
Oh wow.
yep.
Jay, it's going to drop the same time. Janie, it's going to drop the same time. Now, whether it's live or whether it's tape, I don't know. We could come up with some shit because
Hopefully
a
around
lot of
9:30 is the
yeah,
idea though
yeah,
in
we're
terms of
gonna
time.
yeah, I want to go this year, but I know I can't because of work. Because when San Diego is, I have to shoot some stuff at my new job, and right around the corner is Dragon Con, Soda City, and the Toronto Film Festival, which I'm trying to get my job to pay for me to go. Oh, I'm also a member of the Toronto Film Festival.
That's just something we can unpack later.
Yeah,
Folks, it's been real.
yeah, join. Right there, the Amazon. If you want to get it, if you're watching this after May 4th, I'm sorry, but a brother had to buy this Lego set. Um, I'm a Lego guy now.
Cool. All right, folks, we out. Peace.
Peace.